Good evenings people of the Cape Flats, mense van die Kaapse vlakte, hoop het gaat goed saam met julle. En ek hoop julle is besig om te pauze en julle enjoy yourself en julle doen wat reg is. Tonight, I want to talk about hustling. There is something that we have to do nowadays. You can't have one job nowadays. I promise you have to have at least 3 or 4 jobs. The economy is tough. And I've got a gentleman in the studio with me. He's actually very much of a hustler, and he's very much modern about it. But we're going to ask him in a corner about his questions, about these jobs that he's doing, and also very important, what motivates him. With me in the studio, I've got a very young man. His name is Zunaid Baba. He's also the owner of the business called Snap Digital, which actually sponsored us with, he was the first guy, remember that he was the first guy to brand us with Cape Flats Stories t-shirts as well as a cap, and we appreciate it. Zunaid, welcome to Cape Flats Stories.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Zunaid Baba, current owner of Snap Digital. Yeah, I do Snap Digital and I'm a professional photographer as well. Yeah, and that's just basically the basis of what I do. I see we're matching today.
I see we're black, yeah. Men in black.
That's good.
Tell me quickly, just tell us a bit more about yourself. I just want to know, where were you born, where did you grow up, and what was life like? And if you want, I know females don't want to give their age, but you can give maybe what your age is.
Okay, so I'm 37 years old.
Okay.
I was born and bred in Cape Town.
Okay.
I lived most of my life in Bo-Kaap. So I'm familiar with the area of Bo-Kaap. Attended school as well in Cape Town. Post that, I never studied, so I never actually thought of studied. I attempted studying, however, it never worked out for me. I'm more of a theory, more of a practical person than actually a theory person. So I'll obviously take you through that in a bit as well, in terms of what I'm doing.
What motivated you? Did you just wake up one morning and say, nah, I'm going to be a hustler now? Or was it always there? Did you always, like from young already, hustle?
I think it's sort of running through my family.
Okay.
I think my mom was that as well, growing up as well.
Yeah.
Picked it up from my brother as well. I think he was sort of the person that I sort of leached over in terms of, he was busy with it as well, and I kind of got influenced by him. And then of course it sort of just branched out in terms of what I'm currently doing right now, and yeah.
Okay. There's quite a few things that you were doing. I mean, from selling biltong, hiking. I believe you do hiking tours. Just tell us more about the hiking tours, because many people are into this fitness thing.
Yeah.
Just give us more about a description. What is it that the packages also that you offer?
So look, I'm in the process of starting that business as well.
Okay.
It's called the Hiking Adventure Tour Business.
Okay.
Legally, you have to be accredited.
Okay.
By the tourism board in order for you to do this. I'm currently busy with the qualification. Should be done by end of March, inshallah.
Nice.
So looking at completing that, and then of course launching that business, because I've been a passionate hiker for the past 10 years. Done many hikes around the mountain. I'm familiar with the mountain, and I'm familiar with doing long hikes. 5-6 day hikes is what I love doing.
Wow.
So I quite enjoy it, and I've sort of been procrastinating this sort of business for quite some time, and I've been of course told by my family and friends, listen, why don't you just do this? And I think it's something that's in the works, which potentially launching in the next 3 months.
Nice.
So I'll obviously open it up, and then sort of grow that, and sort of give the experience to the locals as well as to tourists that's coming in as well. So that's basically my plan, over the next 3 months.
You are very busy. I look at all the things you do. When do you make time for yourself, and how do your family respond to you always being busy? Because remember, you have to hustle. If you take one day leave, there's no pay coming in.
Of course, yes. So look, I still sometimes it's a bit mind-boggling sometimes, because I just sort of manage it all. I try to manage it all, and of course not get burnt out. Yes, it is busy, but I just think when you are doing multiple things, it's time management. It's extremely important. I have a bit of an OCD for time.
Okay.
I just have a bit of an OCD for time. So I think I only have a certain amount of hours in the day to complete certain things, and I just manage it accordingly. So you can do many things. It's just a matter of trying to sort of just manage the time correctly, and being able to sort of set your deadlines and make sure that you reach basically everything.
And you had a full-time job, I believe. You worked for a boss.
I did.
And you just said one day, I'm full of this boss.
No, look, I had a good job. The job was good. The job was extremely demanding as well. I was working the job for 7 years, while obviously doing my side hustles.
Okay.
So it was challenging, but I just reached a point whereby mental health, it took a bit of a turn.
Yeah.
And I decided, you know what, this job is consuming me, and I think if I sort of leave my job and sort of focus on my businesses and putting that 160 hours and giving to a boss to my businesses, I think it can sort of create and obviously sort of build it up. And I think that's basically why I just decided last year October just to quit my job and sort of just go full time into what I'm doing currently.
Wow, that's a question many people that's going to watch this is going to want me to ask you, because remember, many people have this idea and they want to start a business. Some people leave their job without an idea, but from what I can understand, you were busy already hustling. When did you know I can walk away now? Because there's many people are saying, at least make sure you have at least 1 year's money before you leave. What was the thing that motivated you when you said, I had enough, my mental health comes first, and I'm going to leave now?
So I think mental health is extremely important. I think that was a driving factor, surrounding the decision I have made. I was fortunate enough over the past 5 years to sort of build a good clientele with my businesses.
Nice.
So I was able to, sort of say, what, I'm able to leave.
Okay.
However, I've built a business over a number of years, photography being 10 years, and branding, we're going into the 5th year now for branding as well. So I think I've sort of built it up to a certain point where I could say, leave work and try and focus on it. And I think the best decision I could have made in 2024 was to leave my job.
Wow. Photography is quite a growing industry. If you look at it like this, I also bought myself a little camera now, and I was influenced by the guys in this studio to buy a Sony camera. But we're going to talk about that. But tell me, photography, where did it start for you? And also, there's many people that messaged me. I had a young lady that messaged me earlier in the week. So, how can I take my career to the next level? Maybe there's some tips for that young person.
Definitely. Look, I'm a self-taught photographer. I've never studied it. I know there's a lot of people that I've come across that actually studied photography. I think it's a good thing to study it because you learn quite a bit. Yeah. But I think how I learned, and I was just having a conversation with someone earlier on with regards to YouTube. I think that's a sort of platform where you actually can learn so much. And I think I've learned my photography through this platform. Okay. Looking at when I started, just originated at the wedding, at my cousin's wedding, and I took a couple of photos, and this photos are really good. You should sort of start improving on it. Yeah. And I was shooting motorsport for 3 years. Nice. On Killarney, so I was very much into motorsport. Nice. Still am a bit. Love my cars, so forth. But I was shooting for 3 years up until I sort of gained the ability or the confidence to start charging clients. And I think I'm at a point now whereby I'm able to, cater for the client needs in terms of what the client wants, and basically charge accordingly. And I think YouTube and doing research on Google, I think that would be a start point if you really want to actually go into photography or go into anything for that matter. Yeah. I mean, I've learned, and I'm taking back to me studying. I mean, I can't study at all. Theory for me, it's not something that I do well in, put it that way. But practical, I mean, I can basically replicate anything if I just understand how it operates. Yeah.
And I think it's so true what you're saying, because I'm also in that boat now. The guy that's watching us now, Malik, he actually told me to go study my camera, and every time he would tell me go study your camera. And I think it's very important for you to know what your device is about. And I think many people buy something, but they really don't take the time. I mean, I also know about aperture and shutter and all those things, So this is what I want to ask you. What would you say, somebody watching, okay, I'm going to do that, but what is the best way to find out which camera is the best? Because remember, these people sitting there and they're saying, I've got 10,000 and I've got 5,000 and what money would I spend on a good camera? Or what should I do first? How do somebody start now who's watching this?
I think the best way to answer this question, I would say that it's not the type of camera you have. You can walk into the camera shop and say, listen, I want this camera, I want the best camera. But the perception that people sort of the perceptions, the understanding of people, they
Yeah.
they sort of say the best camera doesn't take the best photos.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You can have a camera on a cell phone, you can be taking and it's all about how much money you have. You can buy, and I started off with a 5,000 rand camera.
Okay.
And I sort of built up from there. To obviously where I am now, probably shooting Sony, and that's why Malik says, you gotta shoot Sony, because he's the one that pulled me. He pulled me in that one day. He just took me to the camera store and said, "Listen, I wanted to shoot Sony, trade everything in," and that's what I done. But I don't regret it.
Okay.
Actually, I think it takes a while for you to get onto that level. You cannot just go in and buy a Sony camera. Put it to you that way. Not many people can afford a Sony camera.
Yes.
So I just think from that area, it's just growth from there, and I think it's again not about the camera. You can buy the 5,000 camera and still deliver what that person is shooting with the Sony. It's all about your skill and what you're able to do.
You're also a biltong man. Where did this start? Because another thing is this, so people don't know, biltong is quite a big business.
It is.
Where did it start for you?
It actually started back in the call center where I worked. I think, you know what, I'm always a person that looks for opportunity. If I see an opportunity, I sort of take it. It started in the call center, and I started selling biltong, and everybody was like, can you sell biltong? And I'm like, okay, here's an opportunity. I then hired somebody in the call center. I said, listen, my job's very demanding. I want you to take over this, and I'll sort of just give you something, man. And it worked. It worked. That opportunity worked. Still going. Still a bit demanding as time. It's a lot you got to do with admin from an admin perspective. But people love the biltong, especially in the contact center. They really love it, and still going.
And also in the call center, there's a lot of opportunities because but also you obviously have to get permission of the management.
Of course.
But I mean, extra money.
Extra money.
Get
the manager involved as well.
Driving.
Now I'm joking. So yeah.
What other stuff do you do? There's a list, but I want to ask you. You must tell us now.
Look, I think the main sort of things I'm at the moment and busy with is the branding and the photography.
Okay.
Talk to you a little bit about the branding. It started in COVID. I was sitting at home for 2 months. Fortunate enough, the company was paying me, and I decided, what am I doing? And in the first, I think it was the first month of COVID or 2 months, I seen a lot of businesses thriving, businesses coming up, and I'm like, you know what? People are doing it. Why can't I do it? And then it sort of, the businesses sort of reaching, it went to an online platform where everyone was ordering online things, and I said, okay, let me try and do drop shipping, for example. That I'm familiar with it, but I think it's not very, very common in South Africa. More went overseas, and then it clicked immediately. Why don't I sell my own products on my website?
Nice.
Which I launched. Website is fully e-commerce, so you can basically order, pay, click, and that sort of thing. And then as time went by, I think I'd rather sort of build a personal relationship with the client, and that I moved a bit of away from that. Yes, it's still available, but I sort of build a relationship with the client in terms of branding. Of course, started with the mugs, the t-shirts, the caps. I think that's something that happens. that is, it's a quite of a popular product, and the hoodies and so forth. And then moving along, I think the business has grown from those items up until we're looking at moving at stickers, we're looking at banners, we're looking at business cards, doing graphic design for the clients, that sort of service we do offer. And look at many other things. I think I moved into corporate gifts as well. Supplying corporate gifts to the clients. Basically anything that you think that can be branded, I can possibly do.
Awesome. What is the challenges for small businesses in Vaslus?
Sure.
There should be challenges, right? Because I mean, you don't have it easy.
No, definitely. I think the challenges facing in any business, put it to you that way, I think rejection. I think, some people, they go look for business, and what they don't understand is they think business is easy to get, but it's not, and they get rejected consistently. But I think you're going to be rejected 50 times or 100 times, but you're going to get that client.
Exactly.
And that's basically what happened to me in terms of sending emails. This is what I offer, going into the client, showing them what I do, and yet they're not getting back to you. But I think at that point they shouldn't be disappointed. They should just keep going, and in order for them to grow it. And it's not going to. I think if you have a vision and you have a goal, you will sort of reach there by basically just pushing yourself.
Would you say that the corporate world sort of shaped you for what you're doing now? Because obviously, I can hear from how you're talking, there's some things that you brought with you from the corporate world into your business.
Definitely. Look, I mean, I had a very demanding job in terms of running a portfolio with many people reporting directly into me and treating it as my own business, and I treated it as my own business. Yes, I've learned a lot in that business, and I've sort of mirrored that on my business in terms of how I need to operate, what I need to do, how I need to interact with clients, type of thing. So I think definitely working in the corporate world has sort of impacted my business in a good way. However, I do think that, for me to take that step, not many people can do it currently in this economy in terms of saying, you know what, I want to quit my job and I want to leave. But I just think I reached a point whereby I think now's the time, and that's basically what happened.
And your family, how are they coping with you? Because you're obviously missing some special days. I mean, as a business owner, there's times where you're going to have to work on somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that type of pressure?
Look, I think it's just about managing and setting expectations. I think they understand it's my job, it's my work, but I try not to take family means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I think I need to make time. I need to ensure that time is spent for them, as well as working on my businesses and so forth. Yes, it's not consistent. It's not every week. I don't want to get to a point where I'm shooting every week and there's certain things that I can say I can decline or maybe perhaps give it to somebody else, because I think one thing I don't want to chase is money over family. I think that's when you're going to start breaking sort of your relationship in terms of chasing that. So I mean that's something that I've learned in my business in terms of do not chase money, because it will impact your personal life.
Okay. And as we come to a close, I want to ask you, who motivates you? Is there any business person that motivates you? Because obviously sometimes, you feel down and there's somebody that you watch, and that person might sort of inspire you.
Sure. I think I would say not anybody in particular at this moment in time. I think naturally I'm a self-motivated person. I wake up every morning, decide, listen, this is what I got to do. I think that's what makes it sort of easier in terms of me going out there and sort of, providing a service, in terms of that. So, yeah.
We have a lot of young people that finished matric last year and they're unemployed. Some of them might not find a job, and some of them want to start a business, but they might not have the money. So we have eager young people. I saw a video of a young man yesterday. He's selling stuff at the taxi rank to pay for his matric bill. He's a matric and to look after his mom. If you can give that young person, any young person, a idea or a motivation talk, what would you tell them? Because some want to go study, but there's no money. And like yourself said, you were more of the practical type of guy than the book guy. What would you say to a young person like that?
Okay, so look, that's I think if I look at it from a motivation perspective, I think yes, he started something, and I think this can potentially grow very big. I think the only thing I can say is just don't give up on your goals. I think if you've sort of set a goal for yourself, I think just sort of go for it, keep pushing, and I can almost guarantee you it's going to work. It did work for me, and I mean, it worked for many other people as well. Just don't give up and just keep going. And I think that's the only advice I can sort of give in terms of where you are at this very moment in time.
And if people want to get a hold of you, like you've got quite a lot of services that you offer, you should actually join the City of Cape Town, because you give service delivery. So what would you say? Where can they get contact? Because I want to say, okay, you say you're a photographer, I want to look at your work. You say you sell biltong, I want to look at your biltong. So where can people go and view the stuff and the services?
So look, I think primary contact, I think via the branding business, which is Snap Digital. I think that would be a primary contact in terms of contacting me on there, contacting me via email, very responsive on the email as well. So I mean, if there's anything that they obviously do require, email or WhatsApp, I'll be able to assist, where that's concerned. I'm willing to also assist where I can, if there's any people out there that want to that need some sort of advice, etc. I'm willing to obviously give them advice to set a foundation to try and help them. Because I mean, I was at the point whereby I didn't know what was going on. I had to do this myself. Nobody guided me. I had to go understand and so forth. So I think it will just make it sort of easier for the next person to sort of help the next person. And I mean, I can do that as well.
My last question, I promise. did you ever feel like giving up? Because there was a time where you obviously felt that you're not making it. Was there a time where you wanted to give up? And what kept you going?
Definitely. I think, you know what, any business that you sort of offer, you know, in the first year, 2 years, you're going to be faced with challenges. There was a point where I wanted to give up because there was no work. You know, the work wasn't coming in. And I think it's just about networking. And I think I networked with the correct people in terms of service. What I do often, I think, speak to people. Network is the key to sort of expand your business. You know, speak to people and see, are they interested? You know, and I think I've sort of, you know, if you're going to start any business, do market research. First, understand if it's something that can be sold or you can obviously make money off. And I think once you've got that answer, you'll know exactly this is where I want to move into.
Something very important you said, networking. You can't be shy or you can't keep yourself back, because that is the one thing, is that when you start the business, you need to be out there.
Correct.
You need to be in people's faces, yes, and you need to obviously be professional. One last question, I promise. How do you deal with people with criticism? Because I spoke to another gentleman the other night and I asked him, people are going to criticize you, and very seldom, I made a post the other day, people are going to say they're not going to support you, they're going to come to you and come with a sponsor letter and they want you to sponsor them, and that's the same people that they didn't support you. But how do you deal with criticism?
Look, I think criticism is extremely important in any. I think people take it differently, you know, whereas when I take it, I take it, whatever it is, I try to reflect and work on it to see if it is sort of, am I making it this error or what's happening? I need to just reflect on it. Some people will just take it and not think about it. For example, the fast food industry, I won't mention any names, but there's just one individual that is making food, but he's having a lot of sort of bad reviews, but he doesn't care. Even though you send him a message, he won't do anything about it because it's his way. And I think these people are sort of tunnel vision in a sense, where they want to know their things and they don't want to actually learn from others. I think you need to learn from others in order for you to improve. If not, and you want it your own way, it's going to be very difficult for you to sort of move forward in a sense.
Zunaid, thank you so much. It was nice having you here. People supporting Snap Digital, Zunaid Baba. You guys can follow him on Facebook and get yourself a cap and a t-shirt.
It's actually Zunaid. You've been making the mistake all along, but Zunaid.
On my show, but it's fine. Zunaid.
There we go.
Actually what, somebody messaged me, the guy's name is not Zunaid. I forgot. His name is Zunaid.
Okay.
And I didn't save your number properly. So
okay.
So I apologize.
No worries.
Thank you so much. And then, all the best.
Thank
and
you.
We would like to have you on in the future again.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I want to talk about a few things, Facebook marketing and mainstream media. And you know, one of the things that we nowadays we don't do is that we don't believe in our own people, and that has been the case always. So we are a lot of people on the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'll be honest with you, in some cases our people get more views and likes and shares and followers on social media than what you're going to get from the mainstream. And you know, I did a few projects, a few tests the last couple of months to help small businesses and a few big businesses, just to see, and to show them what we're capable of. Some videos I said businesses that got more than 100,000 views. Some small businesses, seeing their links, they got a couple of thousand of, interaction. And that is the power of social media. And we need to realize that with us having those big platforms, we speak to a broader community. But also, like we had a gentleman on recently, he spoke about his own business. We also need to realize when somebody comes from Mitchell's Plain, and that person actually comes and sells a product or packages a product, a world-class product, we need to go out and support. We have this thing amongst our people where ons is te bang, die ene gaan vorentoe, die ene gaan vorentoe. At the end of the day, what is the nice thing is that when one of us make it in life, it's a motivation for our young people. But Uncle Clyde from Lentegeur started his own business, his own spray painting business, and he's doing very well. He's now having a business in town. He's able to buy a building very soon. And I think that is the bigger picture. We need to look into the bigger picture. If we support local, it means more of us from the Cape Flats, from our communities, will do well and we will become role models. Why must we look at gangsters and all those elements that are illegally doing things? Why can't we support the uncle that's hardworking? I mean, we have so many concepts. We have people with ideas and brilliant products that they've put together, but they have to close down. They have to, dissolve the business because we don't support them. And we need to understand, when we support our own people, we are supporting the bigger community. We can say, but you know what? Like we like to brag about Benny. Benny's from Manova Park. The Jonathan Rubens are from Manova Park. We can talk about many other people that is doing very well. People from the Cape Flats that is doing well. Like when we support the artists, the local artists, a ticket will cost 250 rand. We will complain about it 250 rand or 150 rand. But let somebody come from overseas now. Tickets go for 2,000 rand. It's not a problem. We can take out our credit card and then we can buy it. We need to realize when our people does well, it inspires our kids. Like say for instance, if we take an artist that is local, if that artist is brilliant and he's doing well for himself or for herself, and if your daughter see that artist, they're going to have an ambition to become a good artist. It means that, you know what, our people are supporting one another. Let's talk a bit about what's his name, AK. AK was brilliant. AK did very well. And he had to go for the broader community. His music went viral because of the broader community, local, but mostly national started supporting him. And I think, we need to also look at things like, if we support our own people will do well and they will prosper. I always tell people, advertise with me, not only with me, but with local influencers as well. But it's also very important to make sure when you advertise with a local advertiser or with a local influencer, make sure that people have a reputation, they are a person of the word, and make sure you go to get references. Who did you guys advertise? But also what I want to talk about is that not always that your post that you advertise with any brand will do good, because now we have AI also playing against us. And people are looking for specific things in specific times, and sometimes your thing might not do good today, but your advert you did maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago with somebody will only do good in 4 or 5 months, because that's many times what you see products doing very well. Not the day when you post, but over a few months. I've got videos on Cape Flats Stories that I posted 6 years, 5 years ago. It's only going viral now. And businesses that advertised with me 3 years ago. And they do tell me, people saw this on your page. I advertised it 2 3 years ago. So sometimes when you do an advert, it doesn't immediately do well. But in future, and that's also what we need to look at. Some of people are looking for instant growth, instant purchases, instant buys. It doesn't always work like that. And we need to understand the concept. When you advertise with a mainstream media, yes, it's going to go out there. But the same is going to happen there. People might not even see your advert or hear your advert on the radio. But the chances of them seeing your advert on TikTok nowadays and on Facebook, it's much more better, much more greater. So when you advertise with local businesses, it's important for you to realize you're not making us rich or the influencers rich, but you're also helping your brand to grow. Because every day, some of us have a views of 40 million a month, 50 million a month, some 5 million, 3 million. That's a lot. It means that 3 million people saw your label, 3 million people saw your product, and that actually can lead to sales later on. I always see adverts on the TV where a bakkie drives. There's an advert on DSTV, and I always see it, the bakkie drives. And when I go visit my friend in this bakkie, I always drive. And later, I didn't like the bakkie, but it played so on my mind that I liked the gear lever. And the more I saw the gear lever in the bakkie, the more I started getting interested. And then I realized, but this is actually quite bakkie. And the same with advertising on social media and with us and with other people. the more people see your brand, the more they're going to buy into it. What we're advertising is not only for now. People are looking for a now factor. If I advertise my business now, I want to get 30,000 views and 30,000 people to buy from me. No, it doesn't work like that. You might even get from 30,000 only one person or 0 people. But the more you add that video or that advertisement, the more people are going to support you. So it's very important for us to understand social media. For those coming up, starting their own brands, their own Facebook pages, keep your pages clean. You know, I sometimes, because of the nature of the page, we need to talk about the gang violence, the abuse and things happening on the Cape Flats, because that's initially why I started the platform. Sometimes Facebook will say, but that is a violent video. Sometimes Facebook will say, but that is looks like it is an abuse video, and they'll take it off and I'll get a warning. So also very important for us as people with big platforms to make sure that you keep your platform clean. And when you post content, like many people, small businesses can learn from this. When you advertise your business, right, you must make sure that you advertise relevant content. You can't be a plumbing business and post whole day about electrical things. You can't be an electrical business and post the whole day about transporting. You must stick to your audience, what you want to, that you want to grow, because audience is very important. You need to make sure when you build, and sometimes it takes time. I have helped businesses over the years grow their Facebook pages. Okay, and it's very important to make sure you are consistent, because maybe for the first 3 to 6 months, you might only have an audience of 50 people, but eventually one post will trigger and you will get thousands of people watching you. But it's also important to look at your content in your audience, because sometimes it's better to have 200 people following you that whose attention you have than to have 2,000 people following you that you don't actually need. So when you do put content out there, make sure it's for the audience that you are targeting. Very important as well, make sure your content is of good quality. Make sure that your content speaks to people. You know, I have a little business, not many little people knows about it, so it's me and my son's business, and we started a Facebook page recently. And it's growing slowly. So I'm doing car reviews, and I put it on this, it's our hobby, but I want to grow it because, so he can one day say, but this is our brand that me and my daddy grew together, because eventually a Facebook page, it's not, a tool for you to actually really make money. Yes, it's there for you to expose what you are doing and to amplify what you're doing. So my son will go with me to companies and we will do test reviews, car reviews, and he will tell me that, but I like that and I like this, and I'll show him how I write the article. And in the last few months, it's a very small business, we just try to be consistent. And in the last few months, I got a lot of opportunities because people would come, what do you think about this car? It's just the interaction. People know I'm doing it. People like, they trust my honest opinion. And I think it's also that thing that actually makes me stand out. Aside from me having the Facebook pages, I am the brand as well. So you must remember, when you become the brand, you don't only speak to people on social media, but you're living the models out there. You're living the values out there. You know, you must be careful when you advertise with and how you build your brand. Are you going to be somebody that's just going to make other people bad? Or are you going to be somebody that's going to be honest, true? Because your true character must display through your Facebook page. And so we actually have a lot of engaging on our page, myself and my son. And we're also starting a TikTok page now recently. And the thing is this, that people watch. There is a market. Like, for instance, I like to write books. So I have an audience for that. But not all my followers like to read stories. I like to talk about cars. So I have a market for that. Not all my audience, not all my people like to watch the car reviews. So you need to look into and tap into what it is that your audience like. And that is the audience that you're going to speak to. So it's very important when you start your page, write down, I want to target the people in Bishop's Court. And then you look at what is it that people in Bishop's Court like, what is the interest. So you need to do sort of a survey. And that way you can actually go out and you can meet, do a test and see what is it that they like. Other thing is this also, the value. Somebody told me the other day, we as people of color and of the Cape Flats, we're very scared to put value to us. Ons wil alles vir nie doen, ek kan knowledge op. And we need to stop that thing, because you know what happens is everyone is going to want something for free. Everyone is going to want something, for a canala choppy. And we need to tell ourselves that, it is a value to us. If I advertise your business, it's effort that I have to put in. It's time that I have to put aside. If I have to go to an event, many of us, I stopped that thing months ago. Where I go to an event and I have to speak on behalf of the Cape Flats. I have a lot of knowledge on the Cape Flats. I know a lot of organizations. So when I speak from a place of wisdom, of a space where I have resources. Why must I go share my information with people for free? If it is for a good cause, yes. But that's the thing, is that we are groomed, and when we grow up, it's about us, charging people nothing. Because at the end of the day, when we speak to people, we charge people no money, because we think, we're going to do it for free. And when we do it for free, we actually do it, because we want to be good and we want to help people. So when people charge you, it's not because they want to charge you. The time, the effort, and the resources is very important. When you support local, you are supporting a dream. I said it previously on another show with Bruce. I said, when you support a small business, you support the dream of those families, of the family members. So it's important for us to realize, when we support small businesses or people that's starting, we are giving them an opportunity to dream. And that's the thing about our people. Sometimes we don't want to dream. Sometimes we want to live from somebody else's dreams. I spoke to another friend earlier this week, and she's amazing. She's got a lot of ideas. And the thing with her is that she actually shares a lot of ideas, which is wrong. You need to guard your ideas. You need to make sure that nobody steals your ideas, because when people steal your ideas, they take it and they run with it. And she's been through a lot, because people stole an idea from her that she's been working on for years. So before you put your dreams out there, before you put your ideas out there into the world, make sure that you make it work. And then you put it out there. Because that's another thing that we like to steal, is people's ideas and people's dreams. And for that reason, we need to be very careful with who we associate ourselves with.
Does it help to patent your ideas?
Good, yes, it does. It's going to cost you a few rands to patent your ideas, and you have to obviously do it with Sub-C. I believe you need to get a lawyer as well, so it helps you to protect your IP, your individual property. So you guys need to register. It's very important. Also, the other thing is this. Small businesses fail to register themselves, and they are not compliant. And that's why many businesses are not doing well, not getting funding, because you're not registered with Sub-C. You don't have a business account. And the reason you don't have a business account is because you're not registered and you don't want to pay tax. It's all things that is actually stopping you from growing your brand. You must be compliant. And it's no use we're going to say on Facebook, they don't care about us. No, you need to care about yourself. Do your homework. Find out, how do I register a business? What do I need? Where do I go? Because you can't just write a piece of paper, okay, this is my business name. Tomorrow you must start a business today. But tomorrow I steal your idea and I register it. Once I register it, I take the whole concept. There's nothing you can do because I'm registered. So you need to look at that type of things as well, where you register before you put something into the universe. Register, make sure you have the right to that name. I've got a business as well that I registered years ago, and it didn't do well then. It's doing well now because it's like a name brand that I used. I registered it. So make sure that when you put it out there, before you share it, make sure it belongs to you. Because you know the story of Bill Gates and of Steve Jobs. The two of them stole each other's jobs, stole each other's ideas. And I think it was Bill Gates that used to work for Steve Jobs. And he got some of the ideas and he put it over to Windows. So they became rivals. So be careful who you let into your circle and who you share your ideas with, because that person you're teaching today can become your rival. Well, rivalry is good, competition is good. But you need to remember, once the moment you start putting your business out there, you are compatible and you are actually compliant, because compliance is important. And I want to ask Malik. Malik, you had a question for me?
No, I wanted to ask you initially about the registration of your business and protecting ideas. But this is not our live, this is not going to cut out.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, you spoke about supporting one another.
Yeah.
But also, how do you go about getting greater support, meaning national, international support, and also selling internationally.
Yeah.
Because we always tend to focus on the Cape Flats, which is 5 million people. So the world is so much bigger.
And there's a lot of our people from the Cape Flats overseas. And that's a resource we must step into, because once people from the Cape Flats that is in Dubai or wherever, once they start buying the products overseas, other people will see in the communities wherever they are, and they will also buy into it. So I think with social media, it's very important to use social media correctly, because social media is like the old SABC TVs back in the day. You only saw certain people on the TV, and that was to indoctrinate us with certain doctrines. And the same today is now we have social media, and we can actually tell our story, our narrative on social media. So we can use social media to sort of tell our stories and promote our products. I've seen people that's doing very well every day advertising their businesses on social media, on TikTok. TikTok for me is the macaw, but I like the fact that it goes viral, because TikTok is more of an interaction platform, and you can say what you want to say. And I think it's very important for you to make sure when you use TikTok that you use it to its full potential. Even Facebook as well. Facebook and TikTok have different audience, and you must now decide where you want to tap into social media. Instagram is very difficult, but there's people doing very well again on Instagram. So you need to look at the 3 platforms or 4 platforms, including YouTube, and look at where will your business do the best. So internationally, you need to also find out, there's companies giving you opportunities like with Source Queen. Pick and Pay and Spar and Shoprite are giving small business SMEs the opportunity to grow them. So find out from organizations where can you apply for funding, who's willing to support you, because at the end of the day, that if you tap into these resources, it can potentially change your vision. And the other thing that I want to mention is that don't think your idea is too small. We have this thing where we think your business won't grow because only a few people are going to support you. In most businesses, it's normally strangers that support you first. And for that reason, you need to look into putting your product out there. You don't know who's going to support you. You don't know who's going to buy into your product. And you need to also put quality out there. Many times we put something out there and expect people to buy it. There's competition. And because there's competition, you need to make sure that your brand is represented very well. I mean, if you look at this bottle of water, there's other water as well. So the water needs to look good, it needs to taste good, and very important, it needs to be a good price. Because people buy products because of the look and the taste. And also very important, the person selling it. If you're selling a product that you are not proud of, you're not going to get the audience. And that's the other thing in our community, is that our people don't know how to sell. We don't know how to interact. If somebody asks you a question, but what do you use in here? Then you can't answer the person because you don't know what's in the product. So it's important for us to study our product, to get to know our product. And once we put it out there, to make sure we represent a good product. Any other questions, Malik? Nothing? Okay. So I just thought I would share with you guys, social media is big, and you guys need to make sure that you tap into it. Make sure you are compliant. Make sure you know your competition. And make sure, also, sometimes we buy the cheaper product. The cheaper product is not always necessarily the better product. But make sure you buy quality, and make sure you put quality out there, because your product is going to represent you. You're not going to be in the shop when you put your product out there, like your sauce or your jam or whatever. People are going to see it. And like I said earlier on also, make sure you advertise your product. Make sure people buy into a product that is all over social media. Social media for me is one of the biggest platforms you can grow a product instantly. The mainstream media is going to charge a lot of money, and I don't want to say this. And sometimes you don't even get the reach. But with social media nowadays, you look at TikTok, and people get 300, 400,000 views. What if you get 10% of it, that 300, 400,000 views, to look into your product? And from that 10%, you get 2% to buy it. It means from 200,000 people, roughly about 1,000, 2,000 people. So look into how you can grow your brand through platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe YouTube ads. Look, ads plays every day, and people watch ads, right? And ads do sell. And that's why all the years it has been a good formula. Companies have always been using ads to to sell products. And it costs expensive, but it do sells. Later on, you will see over a few years, over a few months, Coca-Cola advertises the same logo every day. Every day you'll see an advert on the TV. But it's not for them to sell anymore. They've made their money. It's for you to realize that they're still around and they're still doing business. So that's me. I thought I would give you a few tips, and if you have any questions, leave your comments. I'll get back to you. And then let's grow our businesses together, and let's invest in one another. Cheers.
Only the strong, only the great, only the brave will never One voice can break this silence. The world should end this violence. Their life is much more than what you degrade. Stealing, raping, and genocide. Babies, women should be protected. Ladies and more. And I feel the peace and honor, virtue, fairness, goodness. Without conflict, without war, without pain, free Palestine. Now we hope and we pray for the name. Free Palestine. Nation. We sing for peace, love and hope for humanity. Song for freedom for every nation. We sing for peace and love for humanity. A song for freedom, for every nation. For every nation. We sing for peace, love and hope for humanity. Song for freedom for every nation. We sing for peace and love for humanity. Stealing, raping,
It has been an absolute pleasure being with you this evening.